What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and in today's video I'm gonna give you what I like to call the 5 commandments of how to build muscle faster. All right, like I said in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through what I like to call the 5 commandments of how to build muscle faster. So these are gonna be things that you need to keep in mind, you need to live by if you are working out, because a lot of times guys are just going to the gym, or girls too, going to the gym for years on end, and they are not really getting the results that they probably got when they first started working out, because they're not pushing themselves. They're doing a couple of things wrong that if you fix them, you can really start to see progress like you wish you were probably seeing right now. Now, before I get into them, I will say you can do all these things that I'm about to talk about, but if you don't have your macros figured out, you don't have your entire training plan with cardio included and your meal plan all built around your specific body, because you have your own kind of genetics. Your genetics are not the same as my genetics. My genetics are not the same as this guy walking down the street's genetics. And so because of that, you have to have an individual plan catered to what your body type is, and it's why I've created a body type quiz and made it free to use, so that anybody who's struggling with getting in shape or struggling to see results can take it and get 3 free tips on how to get in shape depending on what your body type is. So if you're struggling to get in shape, the first thing that I would recommend doing is taking that quiz. It's right down below this video. Hit the link. It'll ask you just 5 questions, and then at the end of it, it'll spit out a video, and I'll tell you everything you need to know to get in shape for what you answer in the quiz and what your body type is. So hit that if you want. Also, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I get a lot of people watching my videos from the suggested bar on your YouTube channel, but not subscribing, and I'm posting videos all the time about different topics related to health and fitness and working out and diet and all that stuff. And so if you are someone who likes working out and dieting and getting in shape, subscribe to the channel. I got content coming all the time, every single week, and I'm sure you'll love it. So now let's get into this video. All right, first up, the most important thing that you have to do before you go to the gym, before you start working out, before you start doing a single exercise, is make sure you got your exercise selection down, and it is a good selection of exercises. Because one of the main reasons that people go to gyms and get personal trainers or do online training is because when you are deciding that you're gonna get in shape, whatever your goals are, you have to have specific exercises laid out throughout the week for those goals and for where you're starting from, so that you can go, okay, I'm trying to lose 50 pounds. Well, your exercise selection is gonna be a lot different than somebody who, let's say, is trying to just drop 5 pounds and just trying to maintain size. So you need to make sure that when you're going to the gym, you're doing what's best for you. But a couple things to always live by when you are choosing your exercises is that you want to live with compounds first and isolation movements second. So let's say you're doing a pull day. A pull day is going to consist of typically just back and biceps, because any exercises or any muscle group that you're typically pulling with are going to be your back or your biceps. So if you're going to the gym to do back and biceps, you obviously don't want to start with bicep curls, because bicep curls are going to be an isolation exercise. You're not going to be working your back at all. You want to make sure that at the beginning of your workouts, you're giving the most amount of energy towards those larger movements that are going to work the larger muscle group and more muscle groups, because whenever you're working your back, you're also going to be working your biceps. And so making sure that you're doing those movements first, you're going to be putting yourself in a better position to be able to grow, or to be able to build more muscle and get stronger faster, rather than going to the gym and fatiguing yourself on some bicep curls, and then you get to back and you don't even have enough energy to do a decent weight, because you've already tired yourself out just with biceps. So yeah, your biceps are going to get hit real well, but your back's not going to get any attention, and therefore you're not going to get the best results that you could have gotten, where you could have just gone back first, fatigue your biceps at the end. You're going to have an all-around massive pump. It's going to be way better, and it's going to get you way faster results. So making sure that you have the right exercise selection when you're going to the gym is a massive mistake if you're not doing it correctly. And if you don't know anything about exercise selection, get some help. We have online trainers here at V-Shred. We have trainers, nutritionists, we have physiologists, we have everything to help you out. We also have programs where I walk you step by step through every single exercise. Again, free body type quiz, it'll walk you through stuff. But let's get into the second tip, which is going to be volume. How much you are lifting at the gym. And now that doesn't necessarily mean only weight. That could also mean how many sets you're doing, how many reps of each of those sets are you doing, because what you don't want to do is, let's say, go to the gym and do 10 exercises and do 4 sets of each of those exercises, because let's say you want a big chest and you're going to go to the gym and you're going to have the best chest day ever. You're going to be there for 2 hours. You're going to do every chest exercise you can think of, and you're going to do a bunch of sets and a bunch of reps. And guess what? You're going to hurt yourself. Don't do that. You are overtraining to the max right there. You want to make sure that you're doing the right amount of volume. Typically, I like to do about 5 exercises for about 4 sets, and that's good. And that's what I have found helps me get the most out of my workouts, because not only am I completely depleting my muscles of glycogen, I'm just crushing myself. I'm getting a good pump, I'm pushing my muscles, I'm pushing them past their limits, I'm hitting failure, and then I'm getting out of the gym. I'm not hitting failure and then I'm keep going and keep going and keep going. That's how you end up getting injured. So you get in, you work yourself really hard, and then you get out and you're not at the gym too long, you get a great workout. The right amount of volume is going to be huge, but you also don't want to do the other thing, which is do too little. So something that I used to do is I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna do 3 exercises and I'm gonna do 3 sets of 10 for those 3 exercises. And I got a decent workout, but I wasn't finding myself progressing like I thought I could be. And it's because I wasn't getting enough volume in throughout my lifts. And then another thing to look out for is if you're going heavy. Obviously, when you're going heavy, your rep ranges are not going to be as high, so you're not doing as many reps. Well, if you're gonna be going heavy, what you also want to do is make sure that you are doing some burnouts at the end of those sets or at the end of the workout so that you can still get the volume that your muscles need to continue to grow and get stronger. So second tip, or second commandment, I guess, is make sure you're getting the right amount of volume. Commandment number 3, make sure you're getting full range of motion. And I've talked about this in so many videos. Why? Because it is so important and so often skipped. Because you see people at the gym, and it doesn't matter if you're doing bench press or lat pull down or curls or squats. What you see is someone grabbing a bar and going like this. What the hell is this? This is not what it should be, which is right here. And yes, this is super lightweight. I just grabbed the lightest one so I could show you. But this is full range of motion. Every single time you do a repetition of any exercise, unless you're doing something very specific, like one thing I like with curls actually are 21s, which is where you go 7 at the bottom half, 7 at the top half, 7 full rep. That's a very specific type of exercise, but unless you're not doing something specific, you wanna make sure that you are going all the way throughout the exercise movement. That means you're going all the way to the full stretch of the muscle. So the bicep is completely stretched out here, completely elongated here, and then you are curling up and you are shortening that muscle as much as possible. You're getting that contraction at the top, which you like to call the peak contraction, and then you're controlling it on the way back down. That full range of motion is going to get so many more muscle fibers stimulated than doing something like this. And by using more muscle fibers, you're going to allow your muscles a better opportunity at growth as long as you are getting the proper nutrition. So tip number 3, or commandment number 3, make sure no matter what exercise you're doing, no matter what muscle group you're hitting, you have full range of motion in all your exercises. Commandment number 4, make sure you got your tempo down and change it up if you hit a wall. And what I mean by this is whenever you're doing an exercise, everything has a tempo. So every repetition has a tempo. Even if you're not aware of it, it does. If you're just doing regular curls, just like this, even this has a tempo. And so what tempo means is the amount of seconds or the amount of time that it takes for each contraction of your exercise. So right here, I'm gonna go curl up. That's a certain amount of time. Squeezing at the top, that's a certain amount of time. letting it back down, that's a certain amount of time. So if I'm going 1 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, that's a tempo right there. So things that you could do are switch up that tempo. And so this is something that I definitely like to do with biceps, because the eccentric contraction of bicep curls is so important if you're trying to get bigger arms. So one thing I like to do is just regular curl up, so probably a 1 second concentric, and then I like to go about 4 second eccentric. So I go 1 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. And so you don't necessarily have to do it on bicep curls only. You don't necessarily have to do it all the time. But one thing, like I said, that has helped me out massively along my fitness journey is switching things up, confusing my muscles, putting my body under a specific type of stress that it's not used to. And one way, because I've done endless amounts of exercises, and what I've always found is that the basic ones, whenever you come back to them, they just work the best. Basic exercises, no need to get super crafty in the gym, because the basics work. That's why they're called the basics. But what you can do is switch around the basics, those basic exercises a little bit with your form, to where you're focusing on certain parts of the exercise more. You're putting your muscle under more tension longer. And because of that extra time under tension, you're going to give your muscles more stimulation, and it's going to equal in more growth. So commandment number 4 is make sure you are aware of your tempo and changing it up if you haven't ever tried that, because it works really well. And commandment number 5, and this is in no specific order, and yes, there are probably other commandments that I'm not thinking of right now, because obviously these are not all the rules to working out, but commandment number 5 is make sure you are getting proper rest. Working out, lifting, going to the gym is pointless without rest. Because when you're going to the gym, a lot of people think that you go to the gym, you do bench press, and you're building a bigger chest when you're at the gym. No, you're not. You're going to the gym, you're doing bench press, you're actually tearing, you're creating these micro tears in your muscle, on your muscle fibers, and what's happening is you're actually breaking them down. But after you leave the gym, once you eat food, the food that's in your system, carbs, protein, fats, those fuel your body, those fuel your muscles to grow and grow bigger and grow stronger. And that's when you build muscle. That's when you really get stronger. And so if you're not resting after your workouts, if you're not taking days off to let your muscles rest, to let your central nervous system just be for a day, then you're not going to be making progress at the optimal rate that you could be. Because I used to do this. I used to think, well, I'm trying to get huge. I'm trying to, this is when I was like 15 years old. I'm trying to get massive, because I was a real skinny kid. And so I went to the gym every single day, and I was like, I never take a day off. Hashtag team no days off. And I'm just gonna go every day, and I'm gonna get massive. It's gonna work great. And the longer I'm there, the better it is. That ain't how it works. Once I started taking days off of the gym, that's when I really started seeing the progress from the effort that I was putting in. So you go to the gym, you're very calculated about your approach with the exercises and your form and your tempo and everything I talked about today, really. And then you go home and you allow your muscles to rest, and you don't hit the same muscle group more than every so often. Personally, I don't hit the same muscle group more than every 72 hours. So every 3 days is the most often that I will target a muscle group. Obviously, if you're doing squats one day and deadlifts the next day, you're working your core for pretty much any compound movement. So certain muscle groups will get hit as a byproduct of doing compound movements, but I'm not going to the gym and targeting my chest. I'm not going to gym and hitting chest day and then the next day going and hitting chest day. And if anybody watching this video wants bigger arms and you think that you got to go to the gym every day and do curls, stop doing that, because I used to do that. And when I stopped doing that and started hitting arms like every 3 or 4 days, that's when my arms really started to grow, because I was letting them recover. I was letting it heal, and therefore my muscles were getting bigger. So those are what I like to call the 5 commandments of how to build muscle faster. Hopefully they help you guys out if you're struggling with getting progress, or if you're not even struggling with getting progress and you just wanted to watch this video to hopefully learn something. I hope you did. If you did, hit that thumbs up button for me down there below this video. Lets me know to keep making these types of videos about these kinds of topics. Leave any comments, questions, or concerns you got for me in the comment section. And other than that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.